Yes, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us on the Smart Talk session. So today we have our guest, Mr. Krishnan Vishwanathan. He is having a 25 years of experience working globally in different multinational companies. And he is a dynamic transformation leader. And in training, he worked in training, quality, and performance management is his specialization. So before going ahead, first of all, I would like to welcome you once again, Mr. Krishnan, in the session. Thank you for being for accepting our request to be here today.
Uh, Thanks a lot, Vivek. It's my pleasure being part of this session. I think it's an interesting topic. And good morning, everyone. And once again, thanks for having me here.
Great. So, so Krishnan, I would request you to just, if you will introduce to our participants, though I have given a brief introduction of yours, but we would request you to have a small introduction of yours so that we can know a little more about it.
Sure. So, as I, as I said, I have about close to 25 years of experience. It's been across varied industries, but the last 16 odd years has been in the contract space, and it's been across multiple countries in the Southeast Asian range and area. I have led multiple projects, set up center of excellences, and currently I am heading up the entire training academy for a very large company in the healthcare space. So that's it is. If I were to give a quick elevator spiel about myself.
Great. Uh, so today we are going to talk about great home to work from. So before going ahead with the further questions on it, so I would like to know what is this about the great home? I heard about the home and the house, but what is this great home?
Well, as you know, it's actually a concept. We've always talked about things like there's a great place to work, right?
Right,
We've been
right.
running behind it. We've put in a lot of effort to make the place that we work in very conducive, make it very friendly. However, what we've forgotten is that how can we make our homes an equally good environment or conducive when it comes to work, when it comes to interactions, be it with our family members, be it with our spouse, be it with anyone that we actually are interacting with, right? It's actually it's actually a transformational change I'm talking about. It's all about an attitudinal change. It's managing and probably about integrating our personal and professional life. And
Right.
as I said, bringing back many of our learnings that we have in the confined official space back into the four walls of a house, but making it uh, a much more healthier area, a much more healthier space, where we actually convert it back into an area which goes back into the adage, right, which says home is where the heart is, but it actually makes it a great place where you look forward to going back. And today it becomes all the more critical because we are all confined to our homes. And
Right.
that's why I say that, we want to make the home a great place to work from.
Okay. So we are when we are talking about the great home, it's like because we have to spend most of our time, and we want to be this place where we would love to spend our time, as well as it will help us to grow in both in the personal as well as the personal life. And the transformation is happening in this space. So with this, I can recall couple of years back when I saw a lot of organizations were moving back from the work from home culture to the no flexi work kind of a scenario. But now today, because of this COVID or something else, which is impacting or making or pushing the organizations to think in this space once again, work from home kind of a thing. So why this is happening at this point of time with a great pace?
So, first of all, let's understand what was work from home as a concept till recently.
Hmm. Right.
Work from home till recently was just a attraction card for organizations. It was a card where we wanted to attract people, we wanted to retain people by saying this is a benefit that I'm giving you, and I give this benefit to you where I let you work from home. The potential was never fully realized by any organization, right? As a
Right.
result, there were no procedures, no policies, nothing that was built around. There was no discipline that was built around. And even the employee probably never took it seriously. For them, it was, hey, today I have to do XYZ where I'm caught up with, so I will work from home. Fair enough. But was there a method behind that madness? Probably no. All this while, whether, as you rightly said, a few years back, when you were also in the workspace. I have been in the workspace for a long, long time, as I'm sure many of our participants still are or were.
Right.
Everything that we modeled has been in and around the manufacturing space. Most of the things has been around the Japanese model, right down to our quality structures, irrespective of the industry that we belong to, um,
Right.
which does not necessarily work or gel with where we are. And so was this model. So barring where people are really required to be present, we never thought this can be used to its utmost, potential if it's worked out the right way, and
Hmm.
it's something that can be used where people can realize their own potential and they can really work it out the way they want to by working from home, right? However,
Right.
so working was till very recently, which I would say till about March,
Hmm.
meant four walls, physical presence, and someone breathing down your neck and looking over your shoulder,
Right. Right.
right? That helped us with our
Exactly.
deliverables. Uh,
Right.
that made sure that we had sleepless nights, and that also kept us on our toes. Somewhere it took away self responsibility for many of us, and it also took away self realization. Today, why people are going towards it is we were forced to do it,
Right.
right? Uh, we have the pandemic, at least, has made everyone realize the effectiveness and the efficiencies and productivity can still be maintained even if we work remotely,
Right. Right.
right? Uh, how we can use technology to its best possible extent
Hmm.
to achieve what we need to. Everyone has realized it. Add to that, there is a lot of cost saving that comes in.
Right.
You
Right.
don't have to pay for that space. You don't have to pay for that, your cost to the company. You're suddenly not paying for that 4x4 desk space that you're sitting in. You're not paying for that electricity anymore. You're not paying for that carpet area anymore. You're still
Hmm.
working from your home, right? So there is that kind of money that you've already saved. And as a result, if done properly, the productivity started increasing, the costs have started coming down, and
Hmm.
technology has only brought us closer. So
Hmm.
if you notice today, where earlier we were relegated to our Avayas and our Ciscos, today we are taking our calls even from our cell phones, from our pads, from our computers, because there are so many apps that have come in.
Right.
And
Right.
this is going to be it's going to be a reality. It is already becoming a reality. It's only going to be a reality where more and more things are going to get converted into technology-based uh, working methodologies. And that's why more and more companies are now going back towards work from home?
Great. That's so your answer have raised couple of questions in itself.
Okay.
One is in the past or till last year or this year. So there were no clear policies around work from home. There were no performance measurement system was there which which can help employees to contribute with the same efficiency and engagement. I can remember the major issues with respect to the managers when someone is coming for work, or request of work from home or they are working from home. They were always keep asking about, hey, I'm not able to check the performance, the deliverables, timelines, and all those are badly impacting. So I think still this is a area where something need to be looked into. And another point which you have shared here, that because of the technology today, a lot of apps are there. The technology is making life easier, and at the same time, the environment around us is like this, which is pushing us to adapt a new model of working from home, or something which will help the organization to reduce the cost and some other benefits which you have shared. So rightly said. So so before coming back to these couple of questions which is coming up in my mind, so at the same time I would like to ask you, what are the major challenges or the issues faced by employees while they work from home or while have other spaces other than their workplace?
That's in fact a good question. Um, Challenges are quite a few.
Right.
And I think one of the biggest challenges is driven by our own human minds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very strong resistance, uh, which is a human instinct towards the adaptability to change.
Right.
While work at home was an option which we exercised in the past as a one off, today, when it's become the new norm, we are resisting that change. So that
Right.
probably and is not probably that is one of the biggest issues. Let's
Mm.
look at and add to the fact that it just happened overnight, right? One Sunday you're sitting thinking that
Mm.
this is how I'm going to plan my Monday, and you
Right.
listen to an announcement saying, "Buddy, from tomorrow you're stuck at home," and that
Right.
tomorrow never came. You're just sitting at home. There was no
Right.
preparation time for it.
Right.
Organizations were caught unawares. You were caught unaware. I will give you my own personal example. I came to India
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of days. It's been 6 months. My family's in Philippines.
Mm.
I can't go back. I don't know when I will go back,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the way it is, right? So I'm caught unawares, and it's taken me a good few months to really realize that there is no point in thinking about it. And any sane person will think of the fact that, hey, why me? And that is what has happened. That is causing that resistance, right? So that's
Right.
point
Right.
number two. Third, when you're in an office environment, you will always sneak out. You will have that break time
Right.
between meetings. You'll have a cup of coffee,
Right.
you will hang around in the corridor, you will hang around, outside, probably your break time, where you will have that time to talk, to rave, to rant, get things off your chest.
Mm.
Today you don't have that. And there is a fear psychosis, right? Because at that point of time when you were probably working from home as a one-off, you still stuck to a schedule, maybe
Mm-hmm.
half an hour more, which we all do. Today,
Right.
that
Right.
half an hour has probably become 4 hours because you do not want to lose that job.
Right.
So you're not talking to people and you're just holding all that within. So that's another challenge. There is no
Mhm.
engagement, there is no activity. And those are issues. There is no manager to oversee you. There is no one to guide you. You are your own guide, right?
Mhm.
You are not, the manager is not reaching out and telling you, hey, do this properly, or this is where you went wrong. This is where there are issues. You are not able to
Right.
talk to your manager saying, I'm facing this issue. Now, on top of it, add infrastructural challenges, bandwidth issues, electricity issues, uh, new hires who are coming in at the front line, who are probably in a dorm, 5 people staying in a room. How many of them are going to work together using the same Wi-Fi? These are hardcore challenges, and those are issues. So one needs to work extra hard to maintain one's own sanity with all this depressing news globally. Either you
Mhm.
ignore it, you don't switch on your television to listen to the numbers, the number game. You stop looking at your WhatsApp factory. The more you look at it, the more confused you're getting. You start looking at, certain things that are adding value to it in terms of how you can grow, and you're managing yourself to overcome these challenges.
Right. Right.
So these are issues that are there. Instead of what is happening today is we are not looking at how to overcome those challenges. What we're looking at is we are letting those challenges pull us down instead of
Mhm.
pulling ourselves up over and above the challenges. That
Right.
is what is causing the problem.
Right. So this is really making a situation complex because uh, one side organizations are also struggling with respect to how to keep the momentum on. At the same time, employees are also struggling to keep the job safe, at the same time to perform at the highest level of whatever they feel like. So yes, both sides want to get best result, but still the struggle is going on. Great. So is there any way or the balancing approach we can see where both employees as well as the managers can see that there is a balance of the with respect to the challenges what they see from the perspective of the performance. So how to maintain the performance in under this challenging situation? Is there any way out you can see?
Yes, I can. And it is happening too. So while when I listed out the challenges, it might have looked as very, very drastic. It
Right.
might have looked as if, things are not working, but that's not really the case. Those are hard facts. But
Mm-hmm.
organizations, many of them, have also been really going out of their way to make sure that the employees feeling wanted. They have been going out of the way to ensure that the employee is taken care of. Many
Right.
organizations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without taking names, I know for a fact, and it's actually a case study that if you look for, where overnight they made sure that their employee was provided with laptops, workstations, etc., and the office environment was replicated so that they never, including Wi-Fi's and internet connections, so that they never felt the need to invest anything, or they felt the need that these things are missing in my life and what do I do. So they've gone to that extent. Medical
Mm-hmm.
insurances have gone up. Now coming to your question, I guess what you're asking about is that how do I measure and monitor my performance, and what are the KPIs, right? uh,
Yeah,
if
some balancing approach because
Yeah.
the complexity is there. So considering all those facts, what is the balancing way approach or the way out we can see?
So frankly, if you ask me, Vivek, if your KPIs were already well structured
Mm-hmm.
and they were really, let's say, metric driven, I don't think there is too much of a change that is required because you're anyway being measured around that. Yes, if it was activity based, you definitely have a huge task cut out for you,
Right.
because then you need to take a serious look into the way you're measuring performance. Uh, and you need to revisit. However, irrespective, what is going to play what needs to play a very key role is that inside your metrics, you need to include your uh, engagement activities, collaboration with the team, and efforts, or rather collaborative efforts, should be order of the day.
Right.
It's about how are we talking about self-management skills? What are we doing in terms of uh, communication skills? Uh, so that, this could be across every level. But as we go up the chain or up the ladder, it should also be tweaked around in terms of proactive digital presence. As a manager, am I geared up enough to tell you or take care of you digitally? Do you still feel that, yes, I am still breathing down your neck, but not breathing down, but keeping you engaged and keeping you
Right.
motivated? Do I have that technology wherein I am able to, I can be there for you to reach out and seek help, whether it be through chat, whether it be through whatever, right? So that is how you can adapt and monitor and make sure sustain the performance that was there.
Right. Great. So you rightly said one is the communication, then the collaboration, then there is the digitalization or to be more well versed with the tools, technology, and the tools what is available today, and the best utilization of those resources. And you also touched upon the engagement. So I would like to ask one more, little more detailed question around the engagement, because in the organization's engagement is something very critical, considered very critical and important from the various perspectives. It has long term as well as short term impact on the employees, as well the outcomes, results, objectives, and everything. So what are the new ways you have seen in last couple of months, or the model which is being adopted by the organizations to keep employees engaged, or what or any session from you which can work better in this kind of situation from the engagement perspective?
Actually, that's a very good question, Vivek, because in today's time, I think the name of the game is engagement.
Right.
Um, so for that, let's take a step back and see what was engagement till about 3 to 6 months ago.
Hmm.
Engagement was nothing. It was a certification or a certificate. It was an announcement, a badge that you earned, or a dinner. Or if
Right.
I were to be sarcastic, it was more like a coffee with Karan or a churn with Charan kind of a thing, right? But but the employee feels good about it. But
Right.
did he gain anything? No. Did the CEO recognize that employee after 3 days in the elevator?
Hmm.
Probably no.
Hmm.
However, today it's critical that when an employee is working in a silo in extremely mitigating conditions with all the uh, you know opportunities that exist, or all the conditions that are there, which includes
Hmm.
technology, and which includes your uh, outages and blackouts, etc. You need to keep them engaged. You need to look at online activities. You need to look at touch points. You need to look at a better communication which is happening, probably increase it. It has to be done in a manner where you create, probably it's, online games. You're having these where they can access it over their phones, they can access it over their, laptops or computers or whatever they're using. Um, Appreciate them more often. Make sure that you're, engaging them not just for work well done, but you're also engaging them in terms of better gossip management, uh, better fear management, and build your activities in and around it. That would what employee engagement would be around. And I think it's going to be very, very key. I can, I know that, I can cite a few examples where I have seen some fantastic online or digital employee engagements that have been happening with a few companies where my friends have been working. Um, Actually, they did some, they do a country day where people are dressed up for that country, and they they spend about half an hour where everyone comes in, goes live, and they do a little, something based on what the country's, maybe the national anthem, wearing the national dress, which is good because here the participation levels have really gone up, which probably never does when you're in an office space. I have never participated in any of these things in my 25 years of work experience. It's just me. But today, if someone were to say, hey, do this, I'll probably just end up wearing a kurta and stand there and do something. I'm sure, because we just want to get rid of the monotonous life we are in. So that's one example, right? So there are lots of people who are creating. There's another place where they've created an online chess tournament where people are participating in that. So there's some great, coder sitting out over there. And the entire chess tournament is based on the performance. So it's not something where you're just playing chess. You're basically playing it basis your metrics, your productivity, your efficiency, and you're moving your knights and your queen and your, whatever. So I think that's a great way to engage people too. And people are becoming more and more innovative, and that's what needs to be done.
Right, right. So yes, rightly said, because whenever there is a need, so we have to think differently. And at this point of time, the need is to have keep your employees engaged, keep your employees motivated, or not from the perspective of organization. As an individual, I need to keep myself motivated. I need to myself engaged. So definitely, new ways has to work upon, which can help us to be in that mindset. So now we know that the environment is changing, and because of this change there are a lot of things are changing around us, and the way we used to work and the way we used to be engaged or performed in last couple of years. So now point is how I can keep myself be top on of these challenges which I can see around me, because the point you also raised in your previous one of the previous answer, uh, actually we should not be stuck in the situations or the challenges or the issues. We should come out of that. We should put efforts to come out of that. So how I can come out of those challenging situations or environment or the issues? What can I do?
Yeah. So you basically, the first thing is that you should start by dressing up for your work. Uh, you have to behave as if you're working and that you're not lounging around. So you do dress up for work, even if it's casual, you dress up smart. You create and stick to a schedule like you would if you were physically in those four walls. I know there are calendars that are set for your meetings, but let's organize everything around meetings and or deep work. So when I say deep work, I'm talking about the data crunching. I'm talking about creating presentations, etc. Right? Take the breaks that you would otherwise have. Take it. You don't have to continue to sit and continue to work. You can afford to take work, because I always believe, and I think it's a fact too. If you manage your time right, irrespective of whether you're working from home or from an office space, you don't really need to do 8 hours of work. You
Absolutely.
don't have that kind of work. No one has that kind of work. If you're pulling 16 hours a day, that's because you wasted 8 hours idling away. Every extra hour spent beyond that is that you wasted it and you're catching up. Except on a few days where you're really firefighting. So
Mm-hmm.
manage it accordingly. Create your schedule. Um, take those breaks. Use those breaks to, to connect with your colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
to 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 spend time with your friends, uh, like you would at normal times. I would say one of the most important factor, at least that's what works for me, is find a comfortable corner that gives
Mm.
me the best area that I can work from and gives me peace of mind. It doesn't matter. You don't need a desk. You don't need a chair. You can simply, sit on the floor and work, for all that I care. But ultimately, it has to make you comfortable. It has to be that peaceful corner. Find that. Do not be embarrassed if your dog is barking while you're in a meeting, or your child is calling out for you, or the pressure cooker goes off. That's a new normal.
Right.
That's a new normal. Accept it and move on. Right?
Right.
Uh, and you know what? It will teach you a very important lesson in life. Go on mute. Don't keep it. Do not learn. Don't be on unmute. Go on mute.
Right. Right.
Space yourself. So that is how you really overcome these challenges. And most importantly, I think one of the best ways to overcome this challenge is that if you've already started building a plan and you're not
Mm-hmm.
carrying your work into your sleep, and you've built what you want to do in the next 3, 4, 6, 8 hours,
Mm-hmm.
you've got things just going for you. And you are also getting your own team members to do the same thing for you. So it's no longer stressful. Initial days, yes, it will be stressful because your team member is doing something while you want something. But over a period of time, everything just falls in place if you follow certain rules that you've set and you all agree to follow that.
Anyone, if we can follow these at our in our day-to-day life, because the environment is a crucial factor which we have to take care. And the tips like the getting ready or be ready for your work. So this is something good to have, and uh, and be flexible with respect to the changes what is happening around uh, as a new normal. That is also a good point which many of us keep bothering about. So I think we should accept that fact that yes, this is a new normal. And the another important point which we can say that learn to mute or new practices. Learn to new practice with new ways of life. I think that is very important, and that will help us to grow further. So we talked about a lot of things with respect to the work and how to enhance our performance or how to overcome the challenges which is impacting us from the perspective of work. So my next question is how I can help myself to take care of my personal life, which is a which used to be a major question when we used to talk about the work-life balance. If you remember, before March, we can say. So is that part also plays a crucial role here, or we have to focus more with respect to how to save our jobs on that?
See, work-life balance, um, that has to be there. Uh, we always spoke about work-life balance when we were working, and we said, how we do not have a work-life balance when we were in those
Right.
confined walls. Trust me,
Right.
it was there at that time. We
Right.
are responsible for having ruined that work-life balance now that we're working from home, and that's a fact. Uh,
Right.
we took our breaks when we were in those, in an office environment. Today, we've forgotten to take those breaks. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
what has changed really with the pandemic? We shifted from four walls to a larger space, which is your house. The work has not changed, right? Uh, work hours haven't. From it's still those 9 hours you're expected to work. We have changed the
Hmm.
work hours, as I mentioned earlier, because we are fearing that what will happen if I don't work,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, we have made things stressful. We have
Mm-hmm.
ruined our own work-life balance, and it's extremely important that we go back to create that work-life balance uh, all over itself. For example, why can't we set a schedule uh, and break it basis daily, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, saying this is what I want to do. Set your goals, which you always wanted to do, right? Uh, if I have a late night meeting, why would I want to, which probably, let's say, it's my last meeting is at 12 a.m. Why would I want to start my day when I have nothing planned or whatever till about 12 noon? Why would I want to start at 9 in the morning? I can space it, right? So that I'm still available for 12. Or
Mm-hmm.
I take a break in between. That gives me the balance. And during that interim period, I am being able to spend my time with my kid, maybe have that, cup of coffee or tea with people that matter most, catch up, do something that I've always wanted to do. However, even in doing what we wanted to do, we have gone and ended up creating that also into a rat race.
Hmm.
I'll turn up and say, hey, Vivek, you know what? I've learned how to draw. And you will feel, hey, Krishnan's learned how to draw. Now, what do I do? Does it make sense? No. You do what you have to do. I'll do what I have to do. But why are we converting some of these things? Right? So it's important that we maintain that work-life balance and we do it in a manner where we space it out, we do it intelligently, and we do things that we want to do and continue to do it rather than getting stressed about anything. What has to happen will happen. There is nothing that will put a stop to it. We ourselves can
Hmm.
only make life easier for us by managing it properly. That's, uh, I would say, this is probably, again, I would like to reiterate that this has given us that time to spend that quality time with our spouse. It's given us that time to spend that extra time with our children, know what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing, have those intelligent conversations, crucial conversations with them, be in touch with your friends, your parents, uh, and again, do what you have to do, which makes you happy. And it's
Right.
giving you enough and more time to do it.
Right. So again and again, one point which is coming up, that is the time management is the key. Prioritization, time managing your time, and you making right choices. Am I not audible?
No, you are. You are.
Okay, okay, okay. So making right choices, and if we and being be happy in whatever you want to do or whatever you wanted to do. So it will make whole thing in a different way. or will create a new perspective around you. So yes, I also heard in last couple of months that even while I was talking to the senior leaders of the organizations, they were talking about that uh, they don't know how to handle this kind of a situation when people are working from home. Our employees are quite under stress. They are under even we have observed the cases of depression. So have you also seen this kind of situation around you? And if yes, what would have you done about this? Where
I
people
have
are,
seen, sorry,
yeah, yeah,
where?
yeah, yeah. I was just repeating. I thought you question is not clear. Yeah,
No, I have seen these situations. I have seen people getting depressed. Uh, I have had these, and it's been, as I said, it's probably more because of all the many of the things that I mentioned earlier,
right,
and
right.
that is what has been the root cause.
Hmm.
And I would have done exactly some of the things that I mentioned.
Right.
Reach out, be in touch, make sure that they didn't feel alone, make sure that I was part of their journey, try and get them out of, you know, a feeling of insecurity. I would actually,
Hmm.
make sure that they understood that yes, these are trying times, but then it's also opportunities galore. There are
Right.
so many things that you can do instead of just moping around. It's
Hmm.
like seeing either my glass is half full
Hmm.
or my glass is half empty,
Empty. Yeah.
right? So I probably what I would tell them is um, I would call it the rag, concept. This situation has taught us the rag are standing for responsibility. It's made us much more responsible.
Absolutely.
It's made us much more resilient. Um, A being acceptance of the situation, which the sooner we do, the easier and better it is. And last but not the least, and probably the most important, is if for all those who still have a job, be grateful, and that's gratitude.
Hmm.
Many of us do not have a job today.
Right.
Um, and as long as you have the rag, it's only making you stronger. So I
Hmm.
don't see the need why a person should be. Um, you have to get out of that depression by understanding some of these things.
Hmm. Yes. So you rightly said. If we are more clear, able to understand what is happening, how it is happening, how what can I do about it. So there are some thoughtful things, and if we are managing things in a right way, there is no reason of being in that kind of a situation anymore. So before coming to the last question of our session, I would like to share with our participants that if they have any questions, they can ask directly to Krishnan. And before you go ahead with your question, I would like to share that next week we are going to talk about the journey of a monk. So it's about the how we are moving ahead in our life from our education to the corporate, how we deal the various different situations and time. So this will help you to get that perspective in that conversation. So be with us on the Thursday 9:30 p.m. Before now please I will allow all of you to, if you can, if you all want, we can unmute you, but please ask your question one by one. So I have done that. So we have couple of participants in the session. So please ask if you have any question directly linked to the uh, talk that we had today. So we have Sudeepta, Salab, Pooja, Madan, Kanchana, Amrain, If you have any question, please ask. Okay, so looks like, are you not able to unmute or you don't want to ask any question? Okay, anyway, if you have any question, please please raise your hand or unmute and ask. Till the time we will go ahead with our question. So my question to last question to you: how organizations are gearing up for the future, considering this difficult time? Yeah, Kanchana, we will unmute you after this question. How organizations are gearing
So,
situation in the future?
yeah, so what they're doing is definitely, they are becoming much more empathetic. They are embracing technology. They are moving more towards virtualization, uh, robotics, digitization, artificial intelligence. That all goes towards increasing productivity. That does not mean that they're eating up the jobs. They are also investing money to upskill their employees to take on these roles. And it's heartening to
Right.
see that organizations are really, empathizing with the fact that yes, this is a reality, and we need to take care of the employees. We need to understand the
Right.
situation, and do what needs to be done. So there are more and more town halls happening now, which used to be once a quarter or once in 6 months kind of an activity. Now it's become a once in a week. Uh, there are uh, they are explaining things. Uh, they are not kind of beating around the bush. They are calling a spade a spade. Uh, and I think it's all. Many of them are doing things that is only for the good. So they are all gearing it up. And as I said, I gave you that example of organization that is providing their employees with all the infrastructure that is required. And probably, Vivek, I'm sure you can, with your experience, attest this would have been unheard of till a few years ago. Forget about a few years ago, 6 months ago.
6 months
No
back.
one
Yeah.
would have provided this kind of stuff, right? But today,
Right.
yes, organizations are doing it.
Hello. Yes. Yeah. So, Kanchana, please go ahead with your question. Yeah, I have unmuted you. Okay, let me ask to unmute. I have asked you to unmute. You can unmute your. Yes. Sir. Yeah.
I
Thank
got
you.
it now. Thank you, Vivek.
Yeah.
Krishnan, I wanted to ask you a question on what would be your advice on handling the the fresh graduates or people who don't have too much of experience in the workspace, and for whom being in a physical workplace was important to familiarize themselves with the corporate life, as we used to call it, right? What would you advise? What would your advice be to those graduates, fresh or lesser experienced workforce, as well as to employers? Thank you.
That's
Great.
a great question, Kanchana. And if I were to be honest, I think that's totally out of course. But let me, let me try and answer. Uh, I would say that the way I would work towards it is that I would look at simulating the entire work culture, because I definitely cannot get them into an office space. But what I can definitely do for them is simulate the entire workspace. I can get them into a complete virtual space. I can get them to, how do I put it, experience what happens, or what we call a scenario-based experience. And that is what we are all working towards. And I'll give you a personal example. I have close to, I would say at this point of time, across the length and breadth of India, I have close to about 1,500 folks who are training right now, and each of these people are training from their respective homes. And the only way we are doing it is by doing this virtual training, and they're even doing their on-the-job training, which is, that they're supposed to do, which is what we call as on-the-job training, or getting that experience before they go live to do it properly. They're all doing it using virtual cards. They're doing it through virtual access to tools. We've created these job aids. We've created these simulators. We've created these, virtual walkthroughs using 3D cams and 3D, all 3D tools. And we haven't seen any, what do I say? In fact, they're loving it. And these kids today are tech geeks, and they're loving it. And the fact is, today, if you notice, and let me go back, at least I will say, I am, at my age when I was in college, it didn't matter to me. I traveled 1.5 hours because I had to go to my college, which was in North University, which was Sri Ram College of Commerce, and I was in South Delhi. Today, the kids do not want to go beyond 30 minutes of, not even 30 minutes. They don't want to spend beyond 15 minutes. So they are not any more interested in the name of the college. It's about how close is the proximity. And they are very happy sitting at home. They're very happy, going through this entire virtualization. And we're just taking advantage of that. And it is also making us much more, how do I say, stronger in terms of how to adapt. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kanchana, for your beautiful question. I think that is the one of the most crucial situation which we are able to see in front of us at this point of time with respect to the organizations as well as the new hirings, or those who freshers, those who want to join the organizations but they are not, and they are in a situation they don't know uh, how to understand this whole scenario. And for the organizations also, they don't know how to do these inductions programs, which can be best possible thing in this kind of a situation. All right. So with this, we would like to close our session for the day. And from bottom of my heart, I would like to say thanks to Krishnan, to you for being here with us and have lovely discussion and insightful sharing, which I am very much sure that going to help our participants as well as those who are going to watch our YouTube video on our channel, that is Speaking Buddha. So this recording will be available there within a week there, and we hope for that this session will be helpful for those who are going to watch us in incoming time and the days.
Hey,
So any last piece of advice from your side or to our participants?
I am done with my advice for a Sunday. Thanks a lot, Vivek, for having had me there. I enjoyed the discussion, some fantastic questions from your end, as well as from, Kanchana. So all I'd like to say is thanks again. Take care, be safe. And like I say, keep roaring, because that's what life is all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With this, thank you everyone. Have a great day.